So, in October, I had the opportunity to visit Northern Ireland, visit a World Heritage UNESCO site, the Giant's Causeway. Now, the Giant's Causeway is, some will tell you, the scientists, that it was a phenomenal, geographical phenomenon that came into presence millions of years ago because of volcanic activity. But the Irish and the Scottish, they know better. And tonight I'm going to tell you the real story of the Giant's Causeway. You see, it is made up of thousands of I can never say this word, hexagonal shaped pillars. And they fit together like a quilt. And they come down out of the mountain and they disappear into the northern strait. And then they reappear on the Scottish side of the water. How did this come to be? Well, many, many years ago, there were races of giants. And there was a race of giants in Ireland, and there was a race of giants in Scotland. And each year, each country had its contest to see who was the bravest, and the tallest, and the strongest, and the smartest. And in Ireland, it was Finn McCool. And in Scotland, it was Angus Benandonner. Well, as giants will, they heard about each other because, you see, they were so big, these giants, that they could hold 10 normal men in the palm of their hand. And their voices were so loud that they could be heard across the water. And they were so tall that if they stood on the shore, they could see each other. Well, Finn started thinking, which one of us is truly the best giant, the strongest, the tallest, the bravest, the smartest? And so he called across the waters to Angus, and he said, Angus Benandonner, 'tis I, Finn McCool. And I want you to know that between the two of us, I am the strongest, and I am the best giant in the world. And he started to walk away when he heard Angus say back to him, you are nothing to me. You are weak. You are a child. I am, in fact, the strongest, the smartest, the bravest giant in all the world. And if I could swim, I would swim across this water, and I would take your honor. Well, those insults were just more than Finn could handle. And he thought, and he thought, and he thought. And the more he thought about it, the angrier he became. And he started grabbing handfuls of stone from the mountains and throwing them into the sea, one after another, after another, after another, until finally there was a road all the way to Scotland, made from these giant pillars that he had grabbed from the mountain. And he walked his giant self across this causeway, and he shouted, Angus Benandonner, 'tis I, Finn, and I have built you a causeway. So if you are not too chicken, you can come, and we'll see whose honor gets taken. And he turned to walk back toward Ireland when he saw Angus start to come over the mountain. And he watched him for a minute, and he thought, oh, I may have made a mistake here. He looks quite large. I'm not sure that I should have built the road. So he turned and he hurried back to his home, where his wife Una was there, and she said, Finn, you look upset. What is the matter? He said, well, I think I've made a mistake. And he told her what had happened. And she said, quick, take this blanket and roll yourself in it and get into our bed and cover yourself to your eyes. And just pretend you are a baby. So he got into the bed and he pulled the covers up to his eyes. And they waited. And before long there was boom, boom, boom on the door of their house. And Una goes, hello, who is there? He said, 'tis I, Angus Benandonner. I have come to take Finn McCool's honor. She opened the door and she said, oh, I'm so sorry, but Finn is in the field squeezing water from stones for our dinner. But would you like to come in and wait? He said, I would. So he comes in, and she looks at him and thought, oh, Finn did indeed make a mistake. But she said to the giant, while we're waiting, would you like to see a bit of our home? He said, I would. I would like to know the man whose honor I am about to take. So she took him through the home, and she showed him swords and honors and weapons of all sorts that had been given to Finn for his bravery throughout the years. What Angus did not know is that Finn could not use these weapons because they were too big for him. But he had them. They'd been given to him in his honor, gifts. And now Angus started thinking, oh, perhaps I've made a mistake. A giant that can use these weapons must be mighty indeed. And he did not leave. And then Una said, I'm so sorry. He's taking much longer than I thought. Could I make you some bread? I would like some soda bread, he said. So she starts making bread dough, and without Angus watching, she threw in nails. And she put it in the oven and baked the bread, and then she cut and she handed Angus the loaf of bread and said, I hope you like it. It's one of Finn's favorites. He asked me to make it for him almost every day. The Angus bit into the bread and immediately broke 5 of his teeth on the nails in the bread. And he thought, oh my goodness, if there's a giant who makes this bread every day, I must truly be in serious trouble. And he began thinking maybe he, in fact, had made a mistake by coming to fight Finn McCool. And then he hears, wah, wah, wah. And he says, oh, that is our wee one. Would you like to see our baby while we're waiting? Finn should be back momentarily. And already Angus is thinking it was time for him to leave, but he said, out of politeness, yes, I would like to see your baby. So she takes him in and she shows Finn in the bed, covered up to here. And says, isn't he cute? Finn and I cannot wait until he begins to grow. We are so proud of him. And at that, Angus said, you tell Finn that I got tired of waiting, but had he come while I was here, I would have indeed taken his honor. And he left the house and he ran across the causeway. And as he ran, he boom, 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 shattered all those stones. And so all that is left is a little coming out of Northern Ireland and a little going up into Scotland. But the rest has been shattered by the giant Angus Brennandiner. So the scientists can think what they will about how these were formed. But the Scottish and the Irish, they know the truth. And now, so do you. Woo!